hate you, 3-year-old Joshua screams at me, and he is angry and white-knuckled in desperation. He fights against me, and he's really mad because nap time is never fun for Joshua. I wrestle him into his cot, and I put a blanket over him, but he's still really mad. I hate you, he reiterates, and I know he hates me because he does not want to go to sleep. I know, I love you though, and I try to be consoling, but 10 minutes later, Joshua's snoring. And it's pretty much forgotten. 5-year-old Elias has a pretty big temper for someone under 50 pounds. Amelia is 4 years old, and she wears a pink tutu and beaded hair, and she wants to borrow his rubber dinosaur, but Elias does not want any of that. And he grabs at her until I interrupt and explain why choking is wrong and you really shouldn't do it. But she took my toy, he stutters, and he's still angry, and he's really pissed that I interrupted. I know, but you can't hit her, I said. And a little tiny light bulb goes off in his head, and he says, okay. I think something I love about little kids is how obvious they are. They're really unstable. They're just like obvious little baby drama queens. And that kind of contrasts to high school, where the girls who hate you are the same girls who tell you how much they love your outfit, or say hi to you in the hallways, and guys aren't much better. I kind of thought that as a senior, my life would turn into a movie, sort of like John Hughes, where we all embrace our differences and get self-esteem, and Molly Ringwald gives Judd Nelson her diamond earring and whatever. Or at least it would be like Mean Girls, where you can tell the Janiceans from the Regina Georges, but you really can't. I think a big difference between 3-year-olds and 17-year-olds is that little kids don't internalize. They don't have societal pressure to cover up how they're feeling. They don't hold it in. Joshua literally hated me for making him go to sleep at his nap time. He didn't passively aggressively subtweet that at me. He told me a couple of times, and he cried a lot. But he went back to being my #1 fan later that day when I got him an extra juice box. I hooked my friends up. When I catch my friend crying in the bathroom at a party, she asks me if her mascara is running, and then hiccups, and returns to the party as if nothing ever happened. And this is called emotional suppression. It's a technique that teenagers use a lot more often than our 3-year-old counterparts. And it screws us over. Daniel Wegner is a PhD who did an experiment where he separated 2 groups of people into 2 separate laboratories and told them both different things. One group could think about anything they wanted in the whole world, including white bears. The other group could think about anything they wanted except the white bears. Don't think about the white bears. What you imagine probably happened. The group that was told not to think about white bears thought about them way more. And so imagine sadness is that white bear that we're told not to think about. We logically don't want to feel sadness, anger, or depression. But by forcing ourselves to avoid thinking about our anxiety, thinking about our sadness, and feeling it, we actually make the bear present longer. We dwell on it. The bear is bigger, meaner, and more present. The sadness is more intense. What I'm really getting at here is that as insane as Elias is for strangling Amelia, they're pretty sane. They get it all out, and they don't hold back. Yeah, it's pretty violent, and it's pretty dysregulated, but at least he didn't lie about it, and at least he didn't try and cover it up. While I'm not advocating for us to revert to a 3-year-old sense of self-control, there's something to be said for getting it all out there and being completely honest with the level of your emotions. When Joshua tells me he hates me 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, he really doesn't feel it so much anymore. He goes right back to loving me. So maybe if we just screamed, hit, cried a little bit more, and then we had some string cheese, we could move on with our lives.